Hello, welcome to your stretch, lengthen, and release. So this practice is full body, nice and flowy, a little bit more movement, just so we can cool down and really take advantage of some nice long stretching. So we'll be, again, doing a little bit of movement in the beginning and taking lots of nice long stretches towards the end. So we're kind of combining this idea of yang energy, that masculine movement, heat, and then coming down with some feminine coolness, long, nice stretching of our yin energy to lengthen. So again, our yin practice traditionally is 3 to 5 minutes holding postures, and that's what we'll get in towards the end, which I think this combination will just feel really, really great, especially if you're anything like me coming up post-holidays, kind of in between holidays, get a little sluggish. I don't really want to do the same activities that I'm used to doing and loving, especially as the weather gets a little cooler. So I think this nice flow gives a little bit of best of both worlds. So to begin, we'll actually start seated. So we've done that quite a few of classes recently, but I'm feeling seated instead of popping back up and getting some movement. We're already kind of sitting and being present in the moment. So come to a nice, comfortable sit, close those eyes, move inward, and set an intention for your practice. And we'll connect with that intention of your choice for a few breaths. From here on your exhale, tuck your chin to your chest, let your head hang heavy. Allow those hands to rest down by your side. On your inhale, take your left ear to your left shoulder. And exhale through center. And inhale, right ear, right shoulder. Exhale through center. On your inhale, take your hands high. We'll take a little bit of a twist. Exhale, your right hand, left knee. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist. Inhale, unravel, hands back high. On your exhale, we'll take this to the other side. Left hand, right knee. Inhale, find length. Exhale, twist. Inhale, unravel, hands back high. On your exhale, side bend, drop that left hand down. Keep the right arm lifted. Inhale, exhale over to the left. And from here, we'll keep folding forward, reaching that hand forward, coming over to the right side. Inhale, the left arm high. Exhale, left arm over to the right. And bringing that left arm forward all the way over back to the left side. We'll continue this motion, creating some nice circles with our hips. You can take your hands to the knees or to your side, shifting that heart forward, pulling that weight back. Stirring the pot, but also moving our pelvis like our cat-cow. We'll take one more circle in this direction. When you come back up to that neutral spine, gently switch. one more circle in this direction. Coming back up to that comfortable sit, and from here we'll roll ourselves over to our box and take some more circles, this time focusing on our hips. So as our shoulders stack over the wrists, hips over those knees, leaning towards one hip of your choice, rolling those sit bones down towards those heels. Coming back up to that neutral spine, we'll gently switch directions, leaning towards that opposite hip, creating some nice big circles. And one more circle in this direction, coming back up to that neutral spine. We'll flow on into our cat-cows. Again, kind of getting things a little bit quicker than we're used to. Inhale, opening up that heart. Exhale, curling navel to spine, top of the spine to the ceiling in our cat, and keep flowing with your breath. And one more complete breath. Coming back to that neutral spine in our box. We'll move into our spinal balance on our inhale, lengthen our left leg long, toes point down. From here, we'll add that right arm, thumb points up. Inhale, find length. Exhale, elbow and knee connect. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. Two more times. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. Last time. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. Find length. Inhale. Spinal balance. Exhale, drop that right hand down. Keep the left leg lifted. Inhale, find length one more time. Exhale, step your left foot to the top of your mat. Shift that weight forward, slowly opening up the psoas and hip flexor. We'll enter this stretch a little bit slower, but still not holding as long as we're quite used to. Staying true to this yang type energy. We're taking our personal stretch, lengthen, and release spin on it. So lots of words at once. And exhale, shift our weight back into our half splits, lifting up those left toes. Option is stay high or lower all the way down. Only here for a few breaths. Inhale, slowly come up, frame the left toes with your hands. Take that left leg back long, bend the heel to sit bones, turn the knee to the side, and create some nice big circles. About 3, and then switch. And bring that knee back down to your box, and you guessed it, we're going to move right on over to the other side. So on that next inhale of yours, lengthen that right leg long, toes point down. Once you're nice and stable here, add that left arm. Thumb points up, toes point down. Inhale, find some movement with this heat. Inhale, find length. Exhale, elbow, knee connect, squeeze it into your core. Inhale, reach. Exhale, tuck. Find length, inhale. Exhale, squeeze. Inhale, reach. 2 more. Exhale, elbow, knee connect into the center. Inhale, find length. The last one. Exhale, squeeze and tuck. Inhale, reach. Drop that left hand down. Exhale, keep that right leg lifted. And on your exhale, step your right toes to the top of your mat. In your runner's lunge, shift that weight forward gently to open up the psoas and hip flexor on that left side. And on your next exhale, shift your weight back into the half splits. Keep those right toes lifted or lower all the way down to your left knee if that feels good. And on your next inhale, slowly shift your weight forward. Frame the foot with your hands. Step those right toes back long. Inhale. Bend the heel to sit bones. Turn the knee to the side. Draw some nice big circles. 3 in this direction. And then 3 in the next. Re-lengthen that right leg long and drop it back down to your box. From here, we'll come into our child's pose. Big toes to touch, knees wider than your mat. Exhale, sink that chest down, reach the arms forward, drop your head. Take a moment here. On your inhale, halfway lift, we'll take a side stretch. Exhale, walk your hands over to the right. Place your left hand on top, drop that head down. Nice little stretch through the left shoulder and side body. Inhale through center. On your exhale, walk this over to your left side. Drop your right hand on top. Drop your head down. Inhale, come back through center. On your exhale, rise back into that box, shoulder stack over wrist, hip stack over those knees. We'll take a little bit of a flow from our box. On your inhale, lengthen your right leg long, toes point down. On your exhale, step your right toes to the top of your mat, shift that weight forward just gently. Not so much into that deep, deep lunge. And on your inhale, we'll rise into our modified crescent. Hands reach high overhead if that feels okay, or hands down to the heart center. We'll take a little bit of a twist here. Inhale, find length. Exhale, left elbow to that right knee. Inhale, find length one more time, then exhale, twist into that space you've created. On your inhale, hands back high. On your exhale, take your hands down, frame the right toes, heel toe the right toes to the outside of your right hand. Rising up into our strength lizard pose, curling up off the knee. If that feels okay to you, option to stay high on those wrists for a little bit of wrist strength, or you can lower down for a little bit more depth into your lizard lunge. And lower down to your forearms. At any point, you can drop down to your knee if you need. And inhale, rise back to your hands, heel toe those toes back to center. You're in your runner's lunge on those curled toes. Drop that left knee down, extend that right leg long. Inhale and exhale back down to your box. And we'll take this on the other side. Lengthen that left leg. On your exhale, step your left toes to the top of your mat. Again, gentle little stretch, little lunge. Not as deep as we're used to. And inhale, we'll rise into our modified crescent. Option to take the hands high or down to the heart center. We'll take one more breath here before we twist. Inhale, find length. Exhale, hands to the heart center, guiding you into a twist. Inhale, find length once more. Exhale, right elbow, left knee. Inhale, find length again, then twist into that space you just created. Inhale, unravel, take the arms back high. On your exhale, take your hands down. From here, heel toe the left toes to the outside of your left hand in your lizard lunge. Option to stay here or for a little strength. Again, kind of going for this yang energy. Lift up off that right knee. Allowing that leg to hold a little bit more weight. That quad engage, a little bit of a stretch, but more strength as well. Option to drop down to those forearms. And inhale, slowly rise up to those hands. Heel to the left toes back through center, getting that little strength. Exhale, drop down to that right knee and tuck the toes. Take the left toes back long. Inhale. Exhale, drop back down into your box. From here, cross those ankles behind you, roll into a seat. We'll take our Paschimottanasana. Give those legs a nice little shake. Inhale, peace fingers high. On our exhale, peace fingers reach and wrap around those big toes. Keep that chest and thigh connection. Reach that heart forward. Inhale. And slowly walk those heels a little bit more forward to open up the hamstrings and low back. On your next inhale, slowly begin to lift yourself up. Take a nice little shake in those legs. You're also welcome for windshield wipers if you're feeling like that's a little bit more supportive. And from here, we're going to take half cow face into full cow face. And there's a few options if you don't like either of those postures, and that's totally fine. So from here, we're going to hug that right leg in, giving ourselves a nice little bear hug, bringing the shin as close to our chest as possible. Giving a nice little shake, allowing that hip to open once more. Then on our exhale, cross our right heel over to the outside of our left hip for our half shoelace, half cow face. It's shoelace in yin, so since we're kind of gravitating a little bit more back into yin practice, we'll call it shoelace, just to open up a little bit more deeply our left leg. Inhale, find length. Exhale, leading with our chest going as far as you can, and then dropping the head, your hands down. by your knee, your shin, whatever you can reach. You'll feel a nice little stretch going along of the calf of the back of that left leg. If you are not crazy about your shoelace, you can also take your figure four, so the bottom of the right toes will be in the inside of your left, and you'll fold down towards those legs. You're still opening the back side of our left leg, but it will move up a little bit more behind the knee and the hamstring versus the knee and the calf. So depending on how you're feeling today, it might differ for you of what you want to target, and that's perfectly fine. I love that our bodies are different. I love that they evolve each day, and what may work for you today may work differently when you watch the replay. So kind of doing what you need is most important. And on your next inhale, slowly begin to lift up. We'll unravel that right leg. Let it meet the left, giving both a nice little shake. And then from here, we'll cradle in our left leg as best as possible. Getting that shin as close to our chest. A nice little shake to open up that hip. And remember, figure four is an option, or our half shoelace, crossing our left ankle over our right knee as close as we can in a line of our left knee and our right knee. Inhale, find length, and on our exhale, leading with your chest roll as far as you can, as far as that quad and knee will take you, or hamstring and knee, I should say. And slowly lower down. Again, one more reminder, figure four, reaching towards those toes, adding a little bit more of a back stretch, then our shoelace is also a great place to be. And from here, on your inhale, slowly lift up, unravel that left leg, allow it to meet the right, give it a nice little shake. So a few different ways to explore this next posture. I will share two. You can also go in different areas and different postures that you know that you prefer to be in. But we'll obviously be in traditional shoelace, which I will guide shortly. One option that's also nice if you don't like to be seated, or this is not comfortable for you as you fold over, is actually exploring this on your back. And so the first thing you'll do from your back is cross over your right leg like you're seated, and then you'll bring your knees into your chest. If that feels good, you can take your hands around those knees or grab a hold of the feet and then pull the feet in, and that's when you're really going to get more of the glute stretch. So first you want to make sure that you can just hug the knees in and hold them there. And then if you can do that, reach towards your toes and pull them up towards the hips and the shoulders. And you'll start to feel that the crossed leg, so your right leg gets a little bit of stretch in that glute. It's also a nice option if you don't want to fold over and that's more intense or it hurts the ankles and knees. And then of course you can come into thread the needle, figure four, pigeon, anything that you prefer, just to open up that hip and glute. So for those of you that would like to stay there, please stay on your back. Please explore different variations. For those of you who would like to come into full shoelace from here, we're crossing our right ankle over our outstretched left leg, shifting over to that left hip, swinging that left heel over to the right as you feel nice and warm in this position. Inhale, find length. Then exhale, leading with your chest, fold over those stacked knees. And staying true to our yin practice, we will be holding these postures, just like we did with our half shoelace, for a little bit of time. So coming back into your intention, coming back into your breath. On your next inhale, slowly begin to press yourself up. Unravel the legs. If you are laying down, just stretch out those legs in front of you. Give them a nice little shake. Maybe some baby windshield wipers with those ankles, just to loosen up those muscles. And we'll take this on the other side. Outstretch that right leg. We'll cross our left. We'll switch over to that right hip. Swing that left heel to our opposite hip. Make sure the knees are stacked on top, and inhale, find length. On your exhale, fold over those stacked legs. Or bring those knees and heels close to your chest. Maybe you're doing a figure four, maybe you're into your pigeon, anything that feels good. Just flowing in, and make sure, most importantly, you're really opening and targeting the left glute on this side. Oftentimes when we're holding postures, it's hard to come into the moment and just be. Usually it's an opportunity for our minds to play tricks on us, monkey mind, think about things, bring things that may feel extremely irrelevant at the time. But the beautiful thing is that is how minds work. And it's really embracing that with calmness, stillness, patience, allowing our brain to be a brain and not trying to put pressure on us to be almost monk-like and with no thoughts. And I find in yin practice, especially the training that I did, one of the most beautiful things that was presented to us is having zero attachment on what it should be and what should be going on in our brain, and just allowing ourselves to be ourselves and embracing that beauty that comes with it. And then you'll start to notice that you're okay in a little bit more silence, you're okay in a little bit more stillness, and your brain will start to slow down, switch gears a little bit, and have a little bit more calmer space and moments, because we're allowing it to be and exist rather than trying to conform and control into something that we think it should be right away. And I just offer you the next couple breaths to just explore that, the next couple of postures, to truly embrace that and see how these next few poses feel. With that, on your next inhale, slowly begin to press yourself up if you are in your seated shoelace. Slowly unravel the legs, extend them long. If you are lying down, we will join you, so no need to press up. If you're in a pigeon, we'll just all make sure that we come seated, legs outstretched, and we'll slowly lower down. If you're on your back, we will join you. So slowly lower vertebra over vertebra until your head is flat on your mat. And just take a moment here to take a full body scan. Always notice how you feel when you lower down. Notice your lower body, notice your upper body, notice your core, your face, your toes, your fingers. And from here, we'll take a supine twist. On your exhale, hug your right knee into your chest. Point and flex the toes, move throughout that ankle joint just briefly. And then on your next exhale, bring your right knee across your body. Open up that right arm, gaze follows. And remember, in yin practice, we don't do a lot of counter postures. We don't take a lot of movement after we come out of postures. And that's because we did so much work while we've been lying in this position, same position, for upwards of three minutes, that we are lengthening the fascia. We're unbinding and unwinding certain areas of tension. And so sometimes by instantly coming into movement, we are encouraging our muscles to go back to that same tense, tight position that we've been holding. So it's nice to not do counter positions. I don't always like to throw in that spiel every single time we do yin class, but it's especially important in twisting, because that's usually where I find that we want to come into a counter. We want to round out the spine. Gosh, I feel creaky, or just like a little bit of awkward, like a door hinge that needs a little WD-40. And then you'll notice that if you don't come into a counter posture and you move into the next in about 30 minutes, which is usually that rule of thumb that I've told you before, that's when you'll realize, oh, I actually didn't need that counter. And that's because that tension is slowly being released. Your body is coming into kind of a new way to be, just like after a chiropractor appointment or a massage. You're standing a little bit different and you're like, wow, this kind of maybe feels a little weird, but then you start to sink into it. You're like, wow, that actually feels great. I feel a little bit more of a normal human. So before we come out of this posture, I always like to warn, especially in twists, to try not to do counters. Of course, this is your practice and listening to your body is more important than any rule of the book. But if you can withstand just the movement to come out of the posture and movement into the next. It's nice to see what you gain in your body about 30 minutes stepping off of this mat. So from here on your inhale, bring that right knee back into your chest. We'll lengthen it to meet the left. And on your exhale, hug your left knee into your chest. Take a moment here, get some movement in those toes and ankles. And on our exhale, we'll move into a supine twist on the left side. Outstretch that left arm, gaze follows. And from here on your inhale, slowly unravel, bring that left knee back to your chest. And inhale, lengthen to meet the right. Again, it's okay feeling a little achy and creaky after some positions in yin because we've held them for so long, but allowing our body to adapt and adjust, kind of doing what it knows best before we think of something like a counter posture. Let's see if we can lay in our Shavasana and just be tucking those shoulder blades underneath, allowing our chest to open, allowing our feet to fan open, inner thighs to relax, glutes to relax, face, fingers, and toes. And as always, you're welcome to lay here as long as you need, as long as time allows for you as you are tuning into this practice. We'll lie in our Shavasana for a few more breaths. And when you're ready to find movement, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring some awareness back to your extremities, then hug your knees into your chest. Rock to a side of your choice and take 3 breaths there. And those 3 breaths before you press yourself up to a comfortable sit. When you get there, there's no rush. You're welcome to follow me to close out our practice. Deep inhale, gathering the energy in the room. On our exhale, bring those prayer hands down to our heart center, a place of love and connection. From this place of love, I'd like to thank you all for joining me for this full body flow. I love kind of coming into a yang practice and then truly cooling, calming, and being a little bit more internally reflective with our yin practice. So I hope that you feel extremely zen, and this carries on into the rest of your day. Hopefully you didn't schedule too much after, but if you did, maybe tune into this class one more time before the weekends. The light within me honors, acknowledges, and celebrates the beautiful divine light in all of you. Namaste. Thank you.